Around, there are other faces of the Black Panthers. Clearly, they've seen your battle. Right now, he looked at Zhang Yi with even more admiration. About fighting strength, champions are second in their team. Only after the adult. The police chief laughed. One hand on the shoulder. One arm on the shoulder of the enemy. Fight this battle today. It's like erasing all previous grudges. I hope you two can become friends later. This word makes the translation environment difficult, and suddenly, a smile full of meaning. Friends. His selection criteria are very high. But he still has to respect the face of the school. Even if you say something American. I didn't lose a piece of meat. Smile to the air. Put your right hand out to the enemy. We have to help each other even more in the future. Wu enemy and Zhang Yi. There's no personal grudges. After this battle, he can feel it too. The distance between me and the enemy. His nature is also arrogant, but respect those who are stronger than you. The enemy is a little embarrassed. Put your hand out and shake hands with Trong. Light an hour. After this battle, it's not too early. The snowstorm has a curfew. This, for Li Changbar and others. It doesn't matter. As the new Trong Yi arrived, don't want to break the law. Let them use this excuse against him. He told us to rest before the meeting tomorrow. The school assistant can nod. Wait until after the meeting is over. We'll have time to get together. To be honest, I have not given you a good drink today. I, as the host, do not welcome very well. Smiling at the time. If you have time, you can have a few drinks together. It leads others out of the center. On the side of the ring, people watching this battle, they all carry their own thoughts. The Magi had the intention, pull the fluid under me. But he met Zhang Yi today. Come back now to find Jianji. Otherwise, it will feel like I'm trying to force it. It's not his style. The psychic muttered. Turns out he had never heard of the name of the divine Deng. Ta. That's because he came from the countryside. The psychic has been thinking for a while. Turned to the White Spring dance. You're looking for Zhang Yi. Tell him to come to my house after the meeting. White Spring Vu works carefully. It's not as blunt as the rose. Tell him to find the best translation. That's right at the time. Don't forget to take him to the integral chart to see. Tell him who our magic bullet is. White Spring Dan smiled and nodded yes, Captain. God's word continues. The most valuable currency in the snow is the personal integral. And the fastest and easiest way to get integration. It's about going out on a mission. So the integral chart. It's also a symbol of the power of the individual. The integral of Deng's magic, always at the top of the charts. He had to let Zhang Yi know his strength. That way, he can happily join his team. After all, the present. The flu seems closer. With the people in the Black Panther squad. If unwittingly lured by the school's police to join the Black Panther Company, it would be a waste of talent. White Spring turned and left the room. To find Zhang Yi. Follow some people on the team. Leaving the battle center. Prepare to return to the building. I just got a weapon. The doctor couldn't see help but want to look closely. That way he doesn't have to use the Dragon Ball. With salary approval too. I just don't know. And weapons made of adamantium metal. This is his fight, which is better than Long Min. He was also a little worried in his heart. The battle between him and the enemy. I hope it doesn't make the snowstorms elite. Paying too much attention. Until then, people want his power. Arresting him in the Snow City is not good. Just left the battle center. Suddenly, I heard a soft voice behind me. Call his name. Dear sir, please stop. And others hear this voice. Instinctively come back. I saw a man with a dirty face standing there, wearing a black combat outfit. Limbed dim eyes, shoulder-length hair. I've never met this person. But a character can appear here. Certainly not a normal person. You are. My name is White Spring Dance of the Angel Squad. White Spring Dance just said. Slowly, he walked in front of Zhang Yi. He laughed and said, I saw Mr. Zhang's battle just now. With the enemy corn of the Black Leopard Squadron. Your fighting mindset is very delicate. The ability is also interesting. Hearing this, Zhang Yi thought to himself, the Angel Squad. In the head of the epidemic suddenly appeared the splendid image of the divine Deng. This is what attracts me. Sang Wu also doesn't talk around with the translation chapter. He's straight to the point. After you have finished the conference, their captain, I want you to meet him for a moment. Because people outside the city, you guys have no idea about the situation in the snowstorm. Likely to be carelessly cheated. 2 places you shouldn't go. Smiling Sun continued. If I guess correctly, the captain of the Black Panther Company, he invited you to join his team. To whisper in the belly of the chief. How dare you do that? If we go, his position as captain can no longer be maintained. Spring thought I was right. He thought silently. Watch out, the chief counsel threw Liu's umbrella at him. And his smile grew brighter. The black team after the team. Former army chief sacrificed. Strength of the team has fallen to the bottom of the 6 investigation teams. Even the size of the squad. It may also be removed in the future. So please be careful. Don't let people lie. Expand translation. I heard that Deng magically wanted to invite me to talk. Then guess for sure. Maybe to invite me to join their team. Unfortunately, Zhang Yi has no intention of joining the snowstorm. It's like beating someone who smiles at me. It's not a book. In the words of the school, this man's destiny to this miracle, in the blizzard, higher than the military. Of course, the police would not be guilty of him. Trong said, after the end of the conference, I will come to see the Holy Spirit. Spring Dance's eyes widened slightly with a satisfied smile. Then I will come looking for you. It also lets you understand better about the history of our angel company, as well as our own power. Spring Dance turns people back to the combat center. The people next to me looked at the map. From Fat Nervous asked Great CA. You're noticed now, oh. There's no way. You're like a shining diamond. I can't hide my light. Trong Yi calmly told my strength. Getting their attention is also inevitable. Speak to yourself. Even before absorbing the original of the original, without form, the expression of Zhang Yi. That's enough for the military to pay attention. People who are too outstanding are also a nuisance. But if we don't want to join the blizzard, then they wouldn't have gone so far as to force us. Both the military and the police told him. Investigation team and Yen Vin Army Corps. Requirements for extremely high loyalty. The process of recruiting mutants and teams from outside. It's very strict. It doesn't just have to be strong. We also have to consider the background. Dignity. It's about forcing entry 5. Unless your power is too strong. The snowstorm is new, no matter what. I will accept you into my 5th row. If the epidemic fully reveals its true power, maybe we'll have to face this situation. He showed that he had the power of one elite member of the investigation team. The snow becomes. People with this kind of power are not many. But in 6 investigation teams and legions, soldiers are not too rare. To reassure his group. Don't worry if you don't want to join the snowstorm. They don't go to the point of forcing others. Listen to Zhang Yi say that. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief too. From fat-taking sweaty hands say. That's good, otherwise we'll be too choked. Because according to what they've learned before, the rules in this city's blizzard are complicated, and survival will be decided based on each person's level of contribution. To spread to the snow, they must also follow. Until then, they've been held too much. There is no freedom. As comfortable as in the city of Thien High. And what about part 6 of Revelation? You just stare at the box. In the hands of Trong. Of course, the police understand your mind. He laughed and said, let's go back quickly. He also wants to see this new weapon. The magician looked in the direction of Zhang Yi's group, muttered. Looking forward to next time. What a surprise it will be to meet you. Everyone returned to the apartment. The staff had received them before. When I saw them return safely, I breathed a sigh of relief. She frowned in her heart, clearly a little unhappy. But also dare not express raw here. Zhang Yi didn't even pay attention to her. Go back to your room with everyone. Everyone came to Zhang Yi's room. He looked at the black box in his hand. Especially browsing in 6 Revelation. They are the most curious about the new weapon that Zhang Yi had just acquired. I couldn't help but ask Trong Yi. I touched 06 and said, let me touch you first, analyze you. The epidemic is not hidden. He comfortably placed the box on the table. Then pressed the button and opened the box. I only heard a scratching sound after opening the box. A white smoke coming out. It's an instinctive desire to avoid. 6, but he understood him and said, this is a chemical for curing metals. Can ensure the metal material is not corroded. Normally, only extremely precious treasures and weapons. It's just maintained with this. Don't worry about the epidemic right now. After the smoke melts away, the shape of the tree inside is revealed. Everyone can't help but bring their head closer. Look closely at the shape of this weapon. At first glance, I could feel the strangeness of this dagger. Under the lights, the blade's body radiated a golden light. The handle is wrapped in black leather. This knife is not very long. Including the body and the handle is just a little over 1 meter long. About 1.2 meter. Salary browsing excitedly talking face. Compared to Long Min Road, this dagger looks much shorter. A sharp knife can be used for cutting and cutting. It's not an extended weapon for combat. It's better for melee combat and defense. Its advantage lies in the short-range response, and easy to carry with you. Good knife. If you only look at one, you recognize it. It's similar to a sugar cane. Although it's not the old style, but also a good item for close quarters combat. Take up this sword. Even though he's not a dagger expert, But you can also feel the sharpness of the blade. Absolutely no less than Long Min good knife. 6 Revelation impatient say Trong epidemic, CACA. Let's see for a moment. And with a faint smile, take it. In the end times, cold weapons have the greatest effect. For the hyperplasia mutants, I want it as a reward. The goal is just to add a weapon. And most of the time they don't use it. That's why, when giving this knife to Zhang Yi, the Chief Justice doesn't seem too heartbroken. That doesn't mean it's not precious. It's only for high-ranking mutants. As Zhang Yi upward, most of the time, its effect is not equal to heterosexual male. 6th in God's hand will take the sword. It's not very heavy. It's about 6 pounds, but it's very sharp. 6th then touch the body with both hands. God's manipulation skills immediately launched. Start to analyze the overall material structure. 6 Revelation analyzed completed. However, the look on 6E's face was a little unusual. She said, God take care of it. I saw you frown deeply. Very serious face. Not without asking, how can this metal be copied? People are also full of hope to see 6 Revelation. If you can get it, the weapon is made of the hardest metal. I also wish I could own one. Even in the end world. Who doesn't like military hardware? 6th then he said to everyone, we've done the analysis. This type of adamantium metal, it's very complicated to build. In addition to the extremely rare use of raw materials, then the forging technology process is also extremely complicated. For me to say, even though it's possible to use the power of divine manipulation, to spend a certain amount of time for smelting out adamantium metal, like how to shape weapons, then we have to slowly consider more. Hear these words. There are no 7 hopes. On the contrary, he laughed. It should have been. If the leading cold weapons materials in large areas, you easily broke it, and we've developed the exact same weapon, they're not going to have to cut their own throats. Translation and browsing, they all have their own weapons. Among the rest of us, there's only so much left over from the mutant melee. There are higher requirements for weapons. Consolation Campaign 6 Revelation. You don't have to rush this. Just proceed calmly. Was encouraged by Trong. 6 then, he nodded strongly. We will quickly study the technology. Build it, and that black combat suit. He looked curiously at the sword. Can you show me? Trong Yip told Kai Nan to give the salary for approval. You are more interested in this cold weapon than I am. Take that knife and look at it for a while. She's a female soldier. She loves weapons. Especially the famous weapons. I like it even more. You can also use a spade. But right now, what makes you most excited? It's still that Zhang Yi has his own weapon. Later, I won't always use your Dragon Ming anymore. When you have a big battle, Trong Tai has just delivered Min Long to you. Salary approvals speak with translation chapter. Let's name the sword. The sword must have a name. This is suitable for its owner. The massive recovery doesn't put it in the shell. I look at the sword in my hand. It's shining. Light green. I thought a little bit and said. Then call it holy, he thought. God's judgment. Judge in a natural way. It's human life. They cut people like paper. This is the implication that Zhang Yi gave it. After naming Chou Bao, The doctor told everyone to go to the restroom, waiting for tomorrow to attend the Jiangnam Mutant Organization Congress at the battle center. After Zhu himself watched the battle, I have a little enjoyment for the translation. But always remember, a review of the school district. He frowned a little. Think about putting this shield on, in a suitable position to use or not. That's right, not a spear, but a shield. The feeling that Zhang Yi gave him. It's a very good shield. Make sure you're not in danger, and then counterattack. This kind of person seems bored, but if you put it in the right place, will often produce unexpected effects. At this time, the Tan Than Lan secretary from outside came in. In front of him, whispered a few words. Your commander is here. Zhu himself raised his head in a dignified voice to let him in. Lan Tan Than received the order to go down. A moment later, he brought someone in. That person is not someone else. It is the stupid enemy had fought fiercely with Zhang Yi before. The enemy came in front of the main body, straight back and head up, military-style salute. The commander's subordinates are incompetent. He couldn't beat Zhang Yi. Please punish. Turns out the enemy Korn showed up at the crypto bar. In such a serendipitous way, it seems desperate to find a new chapter. It's basically not accidental. He was ordered by Zhu. Go do this. Since the battle in Tianhai City last time, end of main cycle, I've been paying attention to this name. No matter what the schools report, you can't hide a truth, even though it's simply a record. But when you get into Tai Chu, it doesn't make him easy to ignore. No one knows better than him about the meaning of clone-grade mutants. Although now, the players inside the blizzard became as many as the clouds, but there's no mutant really reached the level of squeezing the cylinder, recognized by the world. Even to the gods, military nails and other gladiators, it's also a little less. Just a little less than that. It was a different world. Early on, he had a plan in his heart. This gathering will definitely come. And this battle was arranged by him. It's just the outcome of this battle that gives him a little hope. He turned his head to look at the enemy. Haha, is there anything worth pleading guilty to? Arrange you to the barcode provocation epidemic. I just want to explore the power of Zhang Yi. Chu thought to himself, I can't believe Zhang's attack. Relatively lacking. It's only suitable as a chess piece. It can be used in some cases. He looked at the enemy. From the time you wake up to the time you join the Black Panthers, it's only been 3 months. Your enemy has potential. The reason you lost the war is just that your combat experience is lacking. Talk about here. Zhu's face became a little serious. Now the army is dead. The fighting power of the black team also seriously damaged. You need to grow up in the future. You are with Judy. The captain must carry the flag of Team 5. The enemy gripped his fist. Think of the man he considers his father to be a soldier. There was a little sadness in his heart, but also a great deal of heroism. That's right. Now he's got to carry the investigative team's flag. There is no longer a military base that can be relied upon. Then he's got to be a rock for everyone. He's young. His power is still there. Infinite development space. A momentary defeat proves nothing. The enemy raised his neck and said, Yes, Commander. I will not make you 7. In the early morning of Monday, everybody's from the suburbs. They all get notified, asking them to go to the Celestial Hall, located in the center of the blizzard before 0930 am. According to the previous announcement, the meeting is expected to officially begin at AM. So, they asked everyone to be there half an hour earlier. It's also reasonable. When I woke up, my eyes were a little dreamy. In fact, he couldn't sleep all night. He's in a strange city, a strange room. It's hard to be able to sleep peacefully. Not to mention last night's fight. The battle was in his heart, a flood of options to consider. So I can't sleep in the middle of the night. In the morning, serving in the same uniform, pushed the food cart to the apartment. They bring food to every room for everyone. I don't know if it was an appointment that the leader of the remaining 3 and members of Zhang's team, we went to his room for breakfast together. The whole group just ate. We talked about today's meeting. The figure of the clown laughing said, "You are too early." The king told him, "You sit here and eat together." The topics they cover, it's just something that's been talked about for a long time. It's just now again. After they finished eating, just give them a few words, but also specifically mention the notes when coming here. Listen to this. This is a snowstorm, even though we are the rulers and hegemony in Tianhai City. But compared to the general area, we are still too small. You have the power now. Of the 12 suburban cities gathered here, just be a little careless. Also prone to fire, LANRA grassland. So I don't want any of you having conflicts with others. The campaign also deliberately stressed if anything happens, hold back first. Waiting to leave the snowstorm, then we'll deal with it slowly. If not, in the city, even if someone insults you in the face, they are not allowed to fight back. That's a little bit of training for you to think about. There are so many people in this place, it's very easy to conflict. If we hold back many times, it's easier to be seen as a soft pink. She looked at the direction of the movement in her heart with some peace of mind. But now, the city of Tianhai had Zhang Yi. There he is. Even Sao will not be considered a soft pink fruit. Red Pepper practiced nodding. Expand translation. Now we have decided to make you the leader. I will listen to your words. Smiling stars, so do we. Emphasis translation chapter. Don't worry. We don't mess up, and we're not afraid of trouble. I really want someone with no eyes. Solving them directly is not good. It's not a big deal. Listen to this. Everyone is very safe. They say together, "We believe in you." Campaign and others went to the center of the hall of the Celestial Club. Now, this place is packed with people everywhere. Between the forces of cities, people who know each other are talking to each other. They don't communicate much with the outside world. Tianhai City. I'm not looking for someone to talk to. He followed the instructions of the waiter. Same salary. Zhu Zi and others went into the hall. Quietly find a place and sit down. This hall is huge, designed in ladder style. It can hold up to 2,000 meetings. Pepper Pink training and the celestial body is also sitting in the area near the epidemic. But they waited a long time. Until 10 to 30, I didn't see Zhu appear in the hall to preside over the conference, yawning a lazy one against the sofa. Look bored. American meetings are difficult to get on time. Especially this time. It's about the integration of forces. In the whole area, Jiang Nam has to consider more factors. There is nothing to complain about. He was just there talking to Zhu Kai Ni 6. Zhu Kai Ni was curious to ask Trong Yi, Zhang Yi, tell me how long we have to wait. To speak freely. Nothing. This is normal. Simply wait a moment. He can even let us study in the afternoon. But in the hall, then there's the noise of some people. Please remember his words now. It was not intentional to keep them waiting. It's because something happened. Go back 2 a.m. at Zhu's Battle Command Center. He got up early and finished training in the morning. He and his wife had breakfast. But this breakfast, he's not really delicious. From the tactical department, the Skyzoid sent him some urgent news. Chu only looked through the communication equipment. The eyebrows immediately shrink. He immediately threw 8 rice in his hand. Tell your wife to eat slowly. I have to go out on a trip. I feel so helpless to eat a little. Otherwise, you will be hungry in the morning. But this is not. It's the first time you've ever been in this situation. After the end of the world, the whole country, they all rely on 6 military bases to support them. Is the commander of the Jiangnan Great Region. Chu's responsibility is great, so everything can't be without him. Into the black bulletproof car. The car quickly runs towards the battle center. When Chu arrived at the battle center, she had been waiting for him at the door for a long time. Zhu rushed to the door, asked in a serious tone, "It's what happened after all?" 2 people fast feet walk into the marshal's office. At the battle center. Warmly walked next to Chu main report. On your orders. We've sent men to the coast. Investigation of the case. The forces there did not come to the Snow City to claim there. But when they got to Linhai City, they found out that all 3 forces there were massacred. Chu's face has a little sea color. Even though the forces in Linhai City, not too strong, but there's also thousands of people, more than 50 mutants. I want to destroy them all. Ordinary people can't do it. Can you tell me who did it? The Skyzoid replied after our people got there. I ran into a group of people. His voice dropped. The people we send, they are all Gao players in Yanvan, even though there are only 6, but the fighting power is not weak. 3 out of 6 people were killed. Only 1 man named Chen Qian escaped. According to him, those people speak the language. Chu's eyes became sharp, suddenly turning around. You mean they're from South Korea? The bodyguard in the back. He's pushing his yellow glasses up the bridge of his nose. Long narrow eyes flashed a cold ray of air. It's an emotion that's etched in my bones. The world is in chaos. People of the Red China, once again encroaching on the territory of the United States. Not just massacres of mutant forces in Linhai City, but also killed the security of the Jiangnam area. This act is no different than declaring war. Zhu's face looked very serious. Even the Haiyan and the calendar. I also feel scared. Even though this general doesn't have any special abilities, but the power that he holds in his hands, they can liquidate the entire island. Once confirmed for sure that the enemy is really a mutant, sent by the Red Cross, then a state of war may take place. Intense communication of words. According to intelligence available today, the number of their people is not very large. It's not a large-scale army. Maybe it's just the military. Please allow me to send my troops to destroy them. Chu is silent. He's thinking about the bad connection. In this case, a coastal mutant organization completely annihilated. For him, it's not a big 7. But seriously, what's the point this time? It can signal that people on the islands again began to have intentions with the territory of the United States. Little pink country, not worth paying attention to. A lone Jiangnam area, the power they possess. It's enough to level the entire island. That? It's just the use of too much force. The seriousness will be greater. It is also related to many countries. This is a global movement. It shouldn't be open to war. Zhu thought for a moment. Fortunately, the current 7 is not serious. Is a marshal. He will not act rashly either. It's choosing to calculate and then act. Zhu looked at the item and asked, "Where is the security guard named Chen Kia?" The man replied loudly that he had brought him here. He's waiting to report to you on the specific situation. Just finished what the Skyzoid said out loud. This is so important that we can't ignore it. Very quickly, the nurse helped her in. Chu must confirm that. Action this time, it's a pioneering step for the massive invasion of the Red China. Or just the actions of some organizations. The two concepts are completely different. Zhu saw the ceiling with his whole body wrapped in ice. Weak breath. This time you'll come to the city of Linhai. To have encountered something. Tell me in full. Emergency situation. He doesn't have time to comfort. Barefoot swallowing saliva. The results of the investigation in the city of Linhai. Things are basically, it's the same as what Vicky said. It's just a little more detailed. But it can be confirmed. Unsub killed many mutants in Linhai City. Speaking Rose. Your own face, S.A. Sam. Calmly ask how many people they have. We only see 3 names. And from the beginning to the end, there's only one guy with a knife. His blade is fast. Only one stroke of the Snow family's arm left him. My face is a bit overcast. He remembers his teammates. The sadness in him. As soon as the fighting, we feel it. I am not at the same level as the enemy. So, 3 of them tried their best to hold the enemy back. Give me a chance to get back to the report. Fortunately, our vehicles are better than theirs. That's how I saved my life. The earth suddenly clenched its fist. Speak loudly to Commander Chu. You must kill all these bastards. To avenge the dead comrade. Key circle arm against chin. Calmly tell Chen Qian. Don't worry. We're absolutely not going to sit back and watch this. These suspicious people dare to come to our country to play tricks. They end up with only one dead word. Chu's tone was determined, like a dead god, declaring the fate of those people. He looked at the ceiling. Soothe your voice a little, and go back to your health. The rest has been dealt with by the general area. The earth gently nods its head. Then crutches. A nurse next door. He was asked to leave the main office. He started to look at Chu. Just wait for Chu to give an order. He will lead people. Destroy all the pink people in Linhai City. But Chu has his own thoughts. We need to verify the identities of those people. First of all, you have to notify the general public. Then contact the high level of the Red China. I also know that there are 2 possibilities. First, high level of the Republic of China admitted, those people are on our side. That means full-scale war. The highest possibility is probably the second. High level of Hong Kong. Basically not admitted. Those people are my people. Whether they're intruders, in the name of individuals, or a stranger, to be assigned a task by a superior, it doesn't make any sense. As long as you don't admit it, you will. They can't face the United States. That's how the Jiangnan area dealt with those people. It's not too much anyway. It was cold for an hour. A team of strangers, the little pink dare to roam the earth. The United States of America, I really want to die. And then he took the intercom to start contacting the high level of the